There's something that's been bothering me about Minecraft for years now, and in my eyes, it completely broke the game. With such a strong claim, you might be thinking that I'm talking about a groundbreaking update, like the Nether update that added piglin bartering, or I might even be talking about the introduction of the hunger system and sprinting, or I could be talking about ancient cities. But no, I'm talking about something much, much smaller. A single enchantment. I'm talking about the introduction of Mending into Minecraft. Now, at its core, Mending might seem like a harmless enchantment. It trades XP that you would gain from killing mobs, mining, smelting, anything like that, and it takes that XP and heals your tools. It replenishes durability at a cost of XP. And while it seems harmless at first, and is something that every single Minecraft player uses without even thinking about, when you take a step back and understand the implementation of mending, you start to understand how it's ruining Minecraft. And today, this is exactly what I want to talk about. Why mending has completely broke the game. Now before we get started, I want to give a little bit of backstory on the enchantment mending. Released back in Minecraft's 1.9 combat update in February of 2016, mending was added to be used as a way for players to heal the durability on their items. So as mentioned before, mending takes XP that you would have gained and instead converts it into additional durability for your tools. And it can be used on tools, armor, and even the elytra. Now, while mending might seem harmless at first, after all, it has a trade-off of experience points to durability. When you dive deeper and actually look at what the enchantment does, you start to understand how mending completely removes any sort of challenge from Minecraft and how it defeats some of the game's core purposes. When looking back at older versions of Minecraft, it is clear that it was meant to be a challenging game. Back in Alpha, you couldn't sleep through the night, so you would have to build a base and survive the night while everything outside was trying to kill you. And even in the modern versions, the game is still supposed to be challenging. You have a hunger system, you have to feed yourself. You have to defeat very difficult mobs in order to quote unquote beat the game. However, one of the biggest challenges of Minecraft has always been how people allocate resources, and more specifically, their time. Players no longer have to allocate their time differently. If you want to go like farming, for example, there's no trade-off because you don't have to worry about going to the mines and getting more diamonds because mending will just fix all of your tools. You can just focus on one task at a time, and half of the challenge of the game, which is getting better enchantments, getting better tools, all of that is completely gone when you have a single enchantment on all of your tools because nothing can break. And if nothing can break, then that means that the one of the main challenges of Minecraft, which is allocation of resources, is gone. And the way that players play the game now is everyone speedruns mending to remove this challenge from the game. Even Mojang themselves understood that the implementation of mending into the game was having a negative effect on the challenge. And they tried to fix this in a recent update by literally making mending harder to get. You have to go to a swamp villager now, which doesn't exist in normal survival, and they've made it so much harder for people to get mending because they saw the negative impacts on the challenge of the game. How can an enchantment be good for the game if it causes the player to play in a specific way that ultimately removes a challenge of the game that Mojang themselves designed the game to be around? Minecraft is supposed to be a sandbox challenge game, but in the current version of the game, it feels more like a progression system than anything else. Now, an arguing point, and honestly a very valid point that some people might try and bring up, is the fact that mending has a trade-off. You trade XP for durability. And while I do see that as a part of the game, and that it is good that mending has some sort of trade-off, the problem is that XP is not hard to get at all. Even if you have a tool that has mending and doesn't have Unbreaking 3, you don't need to worry about that tool breaking ever, because there is an influx of XP everywhere in Minecraft. From the very moment you start the game, you can make furnace smelting farms, you can make the all hostile mob farm. When you get later into the game, you can make enderman farms that give you insane amounts of XP that can heal your tool fully up in seconds. And that's not to mention the fact that villager trading itself, the thing you need to do to get mending, gives you XP. Literally, by going out of your way to get mending, you are ultimately getting XP to heal your tools when you eventually do get mending. Now, some people might still make the argument that mending is hard to get and is more of a late game enchantment. It's really not. Mending is super easy to get with villager trading, and even though it might cost 30, 40 emeralds, if you convert a zombie villager back into a villager and then turn him into a mending librarian, you can get mending for like a single emerald. And if you do that with other villagers, for example the Fletcher, you can turn like 6 sticks into a mending book. It's absurd how easy mending is to get for how broken of a game mechanic it is. Now, at the end of the day, I do think mending is a good enchantment. I think that it is something that should be in the game, but ultimately, I think it should be reworked. So, what do I think Mojang can do to make mending fit better into the current game? The first thing that I think Mojang can do to make mending better is to simply make it harder to get. I know they tried this before, but they should really make it like a stack of emeralds, and there's no way to change that. Or they should make it so you can only get it in like stronghold chests or end city chests. I think that would be a good way of implementing it, so that people can't just get hundreds of mending books. They can only get like 2 an hour if they go searching. I also think that they could make mending harder to put on tools. Like, if you put mending on a pickaxe, you also can't put fortune on it. Or if you put mending on an armor piece, you can only put like 2 good enchantments on it, like unbreaking and protection for boots. You can't put feather falling or something along those lines. But at the end of the day, mending is a good enchantment for the game. I like that it was added. I simply think that it should be altered in a way that brings the challenge back into Minecraft, because at the end of the day, that is the game that Mojang set out to create. They wanted to make an open world challenge game, and I think with some simple changes to Mending, they can bring some of that challenge back. And with all of that being said, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and if you disagree with me or have other points that you want to make that I didn't, please feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I will be replying to every comment I get, and once again, thank you all very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.